my name is Sophie Perkins and I'm an Associate Chartered Building Surveyor at Atkins Realis.
Welcome to Life of a Female Tradie podcast, Sophie. Thank you for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Let's start by learning a bit about you. Can you share with the listeners a little bit of your background and what inspired you to become a chartered surveyor?
Amazing. Okay, so I didn't know what a building surveyor was when I was younger. Many people probably don't, but I knew I wanted to work in construction and the built environment in some way. My passion when I was little was making dens. I just loved making dens, like Lego, but I really loved like amazing buildings, amazing spaces, whether it was an historic building. I'd just be like, wow, like I want to know more. Like, how does it work? Like, where's the history behind it? And I also love ultra modern buildings as well, like big glazed, like commercial structures in London and tall buildings in New York. Like I loved it all. And I wasn't put off by the fact that there wasn't any women in it. So there's plenty of men in it. And I'm quite girly, as you can tell. So I don't look like someone who works in construction. And that was really hard at the beginning. But essentially, after a lot of work and no's and being turned down, not even getting interviews, I managed to get an apprenticeship in building control. So I did my A-levels, which weren't necessary for the job, but it gave me that time to mature a little bit before starting in the working world. I did quite well at school, but I didn't want to go to uni. I wanted to work. And I felt that construction is an industry where you need to be learning like on the tools as you go, really. So I was very lucky that basically I got the job in building control. Hopefully most people listening know about what it is, but if you don't, everyone knows about planning. So planning is, like say, for example, you have an extension, you get planning permission. And once you get that, we do the statutory side. So the building control is where we look at the plans and make sure they're compliant with the building regulations. On the aesthetics, which you would look at, spatial aesthetics for planning, we look at the foundation, drainage, structure. Fire is really important at the moment, particularly with the tragedy of Grenfell Tower. So and then we do all the inspections. So I got to, at the age of 18, look at lots and lots of different architects, surveyors, DIY people draw their plans. I'd look at all the drawings and vet them. But I also got to go on site every day, 8 times a day, the big stuff, the small stuff. And it was just awesome. And it was such a great way to enter the industry. If anyone's thinking about a job, I mean, you're going to see everything. So you learn very, very quickly, which is really, really good. And that was with a local authority as well. But once I started to get through my qualifications, so I did an ONC and a HNC in the construction and the built environment. So that was 4 years. And it's a great qualification because we had loads of tradies on it, all sorts of people, site managers, civil engineers, people in highways. I was obviously in building control. So you got to mingle with everyone. So now, throughout my professional career, I have studied with all sorts of people, which helps me rather than like just surveyors, because that's a bit boring. And I learned I want to be a building surveyor at that point. So I realized, okay, that's where my passion is, because I know that a building surveyor gets to do a bit of everything. And I didn't just want to do the statutory side, which was building regs. I wanted to do something that involved me managing and being part of that creativity of the design, and being on site, but living on site a little bit longer. Whereas obviously building control, you'd be in and out for just the stages. So I managed to bridge across to building surveying through local authority, social housing. Social housing, I think it's good for everyone to do some social housing experience. It wasn't for me forever, but I did it for 5 years, and it was like the front line in that there's no time for too much planning and thought process. It's someone needs something and they need it now. So you have to resolve those issues as soon as possible because that's somebody's home. And because it was, very fast paced, I got to make decisions from quite a junior stage of my career, which was great. So I learned and I got my degree at that point. So I did a degree in building surveying and I got a first somehow whilst working. But once I did that, there's quite a few girls who did it after. So I'm really proud that I put my hand up to the next person. Anyway, eventually I finished that and I left local authority. There wasn't any career progression. And I went to a small consultancy in Bristol that didn't really suit me. I realised that I'm more public sector facing rather than like blue chip kind of banks and, that kind of high-end client. And I went to Atkins Realis, and I've been there for 9 years. I started non-chartered, got my chartership, and got chartered, senior, principal, and I'm delighted to say I've recently been promoted to associate
Oh, wow.
in the company, which
Congrats.
I'm super proud of.
Yeah.
Trying to break those glass ceilings for women in that job. I mean, it's really diverse, to be fair, at the company. But in terms of building surveying, not so much, and particularly in the senior roles. I'm really delighted to have been supported to get to that place. And that's a very quick whistle-stop tour of where I am now. So that's 17 years of working in our fantastic industry. I love it.
Brilliant. And it's lovely to hear that the company you decide to stick with for that period of time is fairly diverse amongst the ranks. And now, obviously, you having been promoted to an associate, even more so up the chain. So, yeah, congratulations. That's brilliant. Fabulous. So what does a typical day look like for you? What do you get up to?
It's so diverse, depending on the project. To give you a flavour, I could be working from home, which is great. Sometimes, I could be working through a design phase of a project. So where I kind of, at my level, I'm kind of bringing the team together and making the big design decisions, but not necessarily doing the granular part of it, which sometimes I miss. But I could also be on site all week. So coming up in August, we've got some residential halls of residence refurbishments for a university client. And obviously all the work has to take place within that very tight period where the students are away.
Yeah.
They have to go in September. There's no negotiation. So if we work crazy hours, so be it. So we want to be nice and organised. So I could potentially be on site every single day. So I could be managing all the site meetings, subcontractor meetings with our main contractors, also valuation the work. So if we get an application for payment from the contractor and they are saying we want 90% of the work's complete, for example, I would then review if I feel that's correct or not.
Okay.
And then surveys. So I could be doing lots of building surveys and building surveyor. So often people think of a building surveyor, and this is very much many surveyors. What they do is they survey your home. So when you move out and you want to move into another property, often people will employ a building surveyor to carry out a building survey, which is a great idea. I don't do that kind of work in my day-to-day job because I do more commercial buildings, but I would do it for a commercial estate. So we do like asset management. So for example, it could be schools. We could be doing condition surveys for a portfolio of a client. And then we would advise where urgent works are needed, where medium term works are needed, and long term, kind of like a traffic light system, press it up. And then hopefully we'd win that work to deliver that scheme as well for the client. But we do everything, and that's why I love it. Other days I could be doing project management. I travel the world as well. So not in recent years, but pre-COVID, I went to Azerbaijan to surveyor school.
Okay.
I've also been to the Falkland Islands, which is an 18-hour flight. For me, in my job and where I work, I don't know what tomorrow will bring. It's so exciting. I could be doing something else completely different. And I love the big stuff. I love the small stuff. I love working with people. So I love, the site environment and meeting different people every day, no matter what they do. I'm just like, how did you get into that? Which is kind of what you do in your podcast, isn't it?
Yeah, absolutely.
I just think it's so interesting because I find that a lot of people have stumbled into it because I don't think careers advice at school is brilliant for our industry. So often people who would have probably gone in earlier if they'd known a bit more about their skills and the industry that could partner quite well. But anyway, yeah, so that's my day-to-day could be really varied.
Wow. I was actually going to ask you about the travel aspect involved in your role, because I saw that you'd been to the Falklands, and I was going to ask where's been your favourite place that you've had to travel for work?
I think the Falkland Islands
was
incredible. Yeah,
okay.
It was so weird. It was like traveling to another planet, but also home comforts. So it's like so far away. It's so far away, but you'll have like a pub, like a British pub with flags and English money, and because yeah, so but then and it like a Margaret Thatcher statue and stuff, but then it's actually, you think, no, this is really different. So for example, they have no native trees to the island because the wind is so strong.
Really?
So then the British Army tried to plant some trees and they're all like on an angle because they're just not made for that place. Their population, I think, is 2,000 people.
Wow.
But they have their own educational estate, their own government, their own prison system, etc., etc. So it's kind of like going to a small village, but then it's like all of the national, like it's run in like a how you'd run England, for example, or Great Britain. But the wildlife is amazing. Like, I mean, it was like, hey, put your net, oh, there's some penguins. It's like, wow, a whale. It was just insane. And in terms of like bringing it back to the job, you've got to think like, how on earth, they don't have any trade out there, tradies. So if you want to do any building work, particularly on a larger scale, say you wanted to build a new school, well, who's going to do it?
Yeah.
How are you going to get the materials? They've got no materials over there, so everything needs to be shipped in. So you're kind of looking at like modular solutions. And obviously the conditions out there are really treacherous. So one moment it could be freezing cold and unbearable, and another moment it could be quite warm. So yeah, there's a lot to think about. For say painter and decorator, where do you get one? And where do you get the paint from? And like they don't have a DIY shop. And then when you get the paint, will it be suitable for a marine environment? So it just like really blew my mind, like from a tourist perspective, because I was just like, wow, I need to come here again with my family, but also from a technical perspective and logistics. So do you bring up a big Hulk ship over and have all the workers on there to live there to then do the work or whatever you need doing? It was just like, it was just insane. It was just so brilliant. Yeah, I don't usually travel that far, but I would say as a building surveyor in the type of role I do, you are going to be driving a lot. Don't think you're going to be kind of 10 minutes down the road in all your local areas. That is possible in smaller firms, but for me, I could be in Birmingham one day, Cardiff another day, London another day. It can be a lot of travel, but you're looked after, and safety is so important. And I really valued the company because of that, because like if you are traveling a long day, and like people listening may be doing that for their job, you can stay in a hotel if it's too far and stuff. Like you're not expected to drive all the way back. I'm not going to do a good job if I'm really exhausted, if I've got up at 4 a.m. to get somewhere. So there's definitely a good balance, and we are supported. But yes, we do travel quite a lot. Gotcha. So wherever the exciting work is, we're all for it.
So I guess it obviously pays off to do your due diligence in choosing a company you wish to work for once you are qualified or are out of education, I guess.
Definitely. Yeah, I think I don't like to badmouth other companies, but I do think that there are companies that safety is not as important. And safety, when I say safety, that's the big topic. But in terms of like the welfare of the people delivering the work, I really valued that where I was looking for an employer, somewhere that I felt happy and I could be me and be myself as well, and not try and fit into a box. I just, and the work culture of you're supported. Like, sometimes it's long hours, but we're in it together as a team, and we all like, it's not like kind of like, oh, the juniors can deal with it or whatever. Like we do it all together, and we're quite a big team. And I looked for places where there was quite a few surveyors together, because we're basically there's a huge shortage of building surveyors, huge shortage of chartered surveyors. A large proportion of building surveyors are looking to retire in the next 5 to 10 years. So we need more building surveyors, and a lot of people come into it later in life. So I did like a part-time course, so I didn't come into it later in life, but I certainly studied on a part-time level. So there was ex-builders, bricklayers. Someone was in broadcasting and came across a building survey and thought, I want to do that, went and got a master's, and someone else got a degree. So yeah, a lot of people come into it later in life. And but equally, because there is a lack of surveyors, you can be quite picky with where you go, because there's not enough people to the job. So therefore, people are going to try and do their best to encourage you to join them. They're going to hopefully provide a good working environment, good work-life balance. It's hard. I mean, work-life balance is a tough one for construction. We work hard, right? Everyone works so hard. with Brexit and everything as well, such a lack of workers delivering the work. But yeah, where possible, I think it's just getting that support and knowing, like, if you don't feel safe, that you're supported to step back and say, I don't feel safe here. It could be that you're visiting a property on your own and it's just something doesn't feel right, and it's like being supported to say, I don't feel safe and I'm not going to go in, or whatever it is, particularly as a woman.
What has your experience been like as a woman in such a typically male-dominated field? Because obviously we all know construction as a whole is very male-dominated. So what has your experience been like?
It's been a roller coaster. I think my love for the job and confidence has got me through it, but it shouldn't be like that. I should not have to be a confident young person when I started. So I basically did like drama and stuff at school. And
Okay.
this sounds like a silly qualification to lend yourself to construction, but as a girl in construction, I needed that to make me feel like I could either be confident or kind of like play the role that I needed to like blend in. Like when I started, I was not myself.
Okay.
I tried to dress like the guys, and that's like okay if that's how you want to dress. But for me, I think I was on a bit of a journey to like, who am I? And I think like being afraid to be myself. So for me, it was like, I am just really girly. I like nail varnish and like, I know it sounds silly, but I was like, I would never paint my nails, whatever. But I know like for other people, it's like not hiding your tattoos or whatever it is that makes you, your hair color or whatever it is. Like, I'm always like encouraging people to be themselves, because you'll do such a better job if you're you. No one can be
100%.
as good as being you as yourself, if you know what I mean.
Love that.
And yeah, so basically when I started, everyone was really kind, but I was the only girl, and studying as well was the same experience. So it was like really tough. So where I studied as well at college, it was a newly built construction and technology wing, whereas construction engineering, more technical courses. They also had the trade courses, but they had like another wing as well. We used to like work together. So we would do all our technical design and then they would build it. Well, it was great. But there were like no female toilets. Like they'd only built male toilets and disabled within a newly built college.
What?
Like, yeah,
that's crazy.
Like, so you can imagine I could have just walked straight in, turn around and walk straight out. Yeah. And I think that's what a lot of women do. But yeah, long story short, they did then turn the first floor into female and then the ground and the second into male. So I could go down to the first floor. But in terms of like my experience as a woman, it was tough. I just cracked on. I don't know how. I just got on with it, and you just crack on. And then eventually I am where I am now. And I'm like, so social media is great. I know loads of amazing women in the industry. I've found some amazing role models that have inspired me and have given me the inspiration that I can do it and that there is possibilities. And I love that. But yeah, at the beginning, I just was so lost. Like I didn't know of any other women. So I just kind of cracked on, worked really hard. The guys were great. They welcomed me. I laugh at now because I must have just been so weird to them. Because not only that, but I was obviously 18 and like all the guys were like near retirement. So it must have been like having a granddaughter on site. It was like hands out your pockets, all that kind of by the foundations and that, just like back to basics. But then I learned. So it was great. I had the opportunity to learn. A lot of people don't. They get a degree. They're in like mid-20s, then they enter the industry and they need to work. Like they're earning quite high wages. They don't have time to shadow. I think the shadowing was really important to learn. And like, because I was so junior, like, yeah, just tell me like if there's something I'm doing wrong, you can just be like, by the way, don't do that. It's a bit awkward when you're
a bit older.
Yeah. But yeah, everyone's really nice. The other really big thing, which may come on to in a minute, is the PPE. So personal protective equipment. I just felt like a complete clown. Like nothing fitted me. And I'm actually 5'10", so I'm not small.
Are you? Same as me. Yeah.
Are you?
Yeah.
We don't know because you're sitting down.
I know, I'm quite small.
Okay, so you might relate to this. So I think people are like, you're either a bloke or you're a small woman.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I'm a woman, so my body is different, but I'm tall. So I was often, not always, but taller than the guys. So it's not that the trousers didn't fit in length, but they didn't fit me. Like they were really loose on my legs. So I'm like tall with slim legs, but I got hips and then like super tight my hips. So I was like, either they don't fit my waist or and they fit my legs, but or I have like really baggy trousers, and then it's just really uncomfortable when you're trying to climb a ladder or whatever. But yeah, beyond that, so PP was just such a big issue, and it just made me feel like an idiot because I just didn't fit in. I didn't look right. And then like the footwear was just like the biggest thing. Like, so they either didn't have anything for me, or they had like a clog, or like just weird
no,
shoes. Now we're going back 17 years, so it's not that long, but like it was different then. So just with some sheer passion of like, no other woman should go through this. Like, I've got to do something about it. And, you know, shouting about it. I had a column in the local newspaper. Twitter was huge then to like share issues in like a short, succinct message. So yeah, Twitter really helped. But yeah, anyway, I got listened to by Ambler Safety, which is a European safety footwear company. They actually like gave me a chance, because I think other companies were like, well, you know, we're here for profit. There's not many women. We're not going to make any money. But actually, Ambler saw something, and they actually already had like quite a small women's collection at the time. And we worked together. We made the Sophie shoe, and it did great. It did really well, and they were like, right, so we've got something here. And yeah, the collection's now like over 15 shoes within the collection.
15. Goodness me.
Because there's so many different trades and so many different professional roles. You could be in rail, you could be a scaffolder, and you both need different shoes. You could be an archaeologist and you need like waterproof deep wellies, or you could be a roofer and you need lightweight but really grippy shoes with a toe cap and steel soles. You don't want a big boot. You know, there's just so many different boots that we need for our job. I'm picking on painting and decorating because I know that's what you do.
That's me.
You don't want like a big rigger boot.
No.
I guess like you don't want something really heavy. Waterproof might not be necessary if you're doing indoor decorating. If you're doing outdoor, you might want lightweight, but not like a big heavy boot kind of thing. You could be working in an airport. And you don't want metal in your shoe.
Yeah.
So there's so many different shoes. I was like, we need this, we need this, we need this. And we just kind of developed it. But
incredible.
Yeah, so it's going back to your question, I've kind of waffled on about
that's all right.
My experience as a woman. That's a big part of my story, is being a woman and PPE and the journey that I went on. That really changed everything for me, and I hope for other women, where they felt that they fitted in. Because if I came on my first day and they had footwear for me, I probably wouldn't have felt so unwelcome because they would have like made me feel like I'm part of the industry. But yeah, they've done great, and there are so many women that people don't know about that aren't hitting the statistics or whatever they are. Women want to do DIY. Women want to invest in develop property. They might not be doing it as their main job, so I don't know if they're missing in the figures or whatever. But women want safety shoes.
Absolutely,
you know, and
yeah. We want to be considered, you know. We are growing as part of this industry. So, yeah, please do consider us when you're thinking of PPE or facilities. I mean, they're basics, right? They're basics.
Yeah, you think it's basic,
Yeah. I'm sure anybody, a male person or a person coming onto a new site, the first things they are told to do is bring a high vis, wear boots, and potentially a hard hat, depending on what type of site it is. So if that is the minimal expectation for a female as well, going onto a site, why is there still such little amount of female specific PPE available? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah. And I think so many women either don't know about it or they're just suffering. They're like, oh, my boots are awful. They don't fit me.
Yeah.
And I just, like I did when I was younger, I just cracked on, you know, just get on with the job and you worry about it later. But yeah, there absolutely is. There's so there's a website called ppethatfits.com. And it was developed by the president at the time of the Chartered Institute of Buildings, CIOB, Sandy Rees-Jones. And there was a little group of us that all helped provide. We're like a group of people who had tried and tested PPE and said, yeah, that's cool. That's good for women. Because people say they got women's stuff, but it might be a bit rubbish.
Yeah.
I've tried on women's, this unisex, really, whatever. So yeah, the Boulders Brass Network, another network, if you've got LinkedIn, to join, if you are someone who's maybe on your own, self-employed, and you're like, I don't know where to start with female PPE, I've just listened to this and actually there is stuff for me, I would probably go on that website. Obviously, Ambler Safety, the Sophie collection is the boots that I've developed, but there is so many great things out there. It's just we don't really know about it or where to get it. And if you're working for like a tier one contractor, quite often they've got their own supplier and it's like a bottleneck with only the products that that supplier has. So you might be missing out on some really great PPE for you. A brand, in terms of clothing, if you're wearing high vis, it's probably Leo and Pulsar. Leo Workwear and Pulsar are pretty good.
Okay.
But if you're wearing workwear, which is more what I would wear, I wear like a high vis jacket, but I'm more wearing like workwear trousers, top, like a jacket, whatever. Is Hard Yakka. It's an Australian brand. I love it. It's really stretchy. Like,
Okay.
I don't know if you've come across it before.
I haven't, but I know that the Aussies do a lot of good female workwear. Yeah, they are really good at that. Yeah.
Yeah, and they do shorts as well, depending on if your site allows you to wear shorts. I've got a pair. Yeah, Hard Yakka, Helly Hansen, Caterpillar, and Dickies. I found like female workwear is great.
I'll have to put all these in a list at the bottom of the show notes so people can find them all.
I'll do some notes.
Absolutely.
Because it just saves people. These days we buy everything online, don't we? So you don't get to go to a shop and try things on. Like when I started, you went to the PPE shop and obviously my first day went terribly and they were like, we haven't got anything for you. But yeah, these days you kind of have to like hit and miss online a little bit about, what's going to fit you. But yeah, my vision is that we have tall, petite, curve.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Like we need all the different shapes because us women are so different to men. I think the guys, they all want stretchy waistbands as well from the feedback that I've got. And obviously what neurodiversity and disabilities, and there are so many different nuances to what different people need for PPE. It's called personal for a reason, personal protective equipment. So there's a long way to go, but we're getting somewhere. And for ladies who are looking for PPE thatfits.com is a great like one-stop shop. It's got a directory of all the different websites, just makes it a bit easier. And it obviously is non-biased. There's loads of different ones on there. It's not like it's directing you to just one footwear brand, for example. And there is some good stuff out there. Yeah.
Awesome.
And that really transformed my experience once I had PPE that fitted. It's still in trial and error sometimes, like things, but I was like, oh, I can be me. And that was amazing. Generally, I've had a really good experience. Generally, I've had the odd bad experience as a woman, but generally really good. And people are kind. Generally.
Amazing. Yeah, you're very lucky, very lucky. So we've obviously just touched on Ambler Safety and your boots. Let's continue on that path whilst we're on it. Tell us more about your range of boots that you've created with Ambler Safety.
Okay, so right, I've got a few here. I've got 4 with me. So this is it's got a bit of spin on side. This is the Sophie. This is where I began. So for me, it was the shoe for everything. So obviously if you are going into like deep muddy sites, obviously I'm not going to wear more like a brogue trainer kind of look, but it's lightweight, it's slip resistant, oil resistant, it's got the toe cap, it's got the steel sole, but it's grippy. So you can do all sorts of like tradie jobs with this kind of shoe.
Yeah. But
you're also protected. And I love it as well for like professional look. If you've got like black trousers on like a suit, it kind of looks like just a break kind of thing. And that's what the guys had in building control, and I was really jealous. So yeah, that was the Sophie. It's a European bestseller. It's brilliant. I love it. And then we went on to the Lydia. So I was like, right, we need ankle protection now. We need one that goes 6 inches off the ground. We kept similar to the Sophie design, but obviously that it goes up the ankle and it's got a zip.
Oh, wicked. On the inside,
so get your perfect fit, and then all you have to do is zip it on and off. Anyone who goes on site in the winter is absolutely freezing, and I have not got the patience to untie laces when I can't feel my hands.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just think the zip's brilliant. I really love this. And that was the beginning too. And then kind of like the middle of the collection, we've got the Kira. So we're going into the waterproof level ones now.
Okay.
The Kira comes in 2 colours, so a lot of them come in 2 colours. And where possible, I try and get the shoes down to a size 2. and
Oh,
up to a
wow.
size 9,
Yeah.
because there's people with those needs. But you're always going to get a 3 to 8. Often a 6.5 seems to be really popular, so we've been kind of doing half sizes. But yeah, this is the Kira. It's just your standard black boot. A lot of women, I get a real mix. I get people who want fashion designs. I haven't got the Mimi with me, but it's like a lush grey, like husky dog kind of colour, and then the inner is like a really beautiful blue.
Okay.
Just like a little hint of colour I quite like. I don't like loads
Yes.
of it. A lot of girls want something they can wear on site and then on to the evening. If you're going off to the pub, you're going to play darts, whatever you're doing. But then other women, especially when the women who wear high vis all the way top to toe, like rail, high waist, that kind of stuff, they want to look exactly like the men. They just want it to fit
They
them.
don't want to stick out. They don't want to,
Yeah. So
I get
it's
that.
really hard to cater for everyone. So they want, well, this is a generalization, but they're like, they don't want anything, any color or anything. They just want the black boot, but the black boot that fits on a women's last. So a last is what is used to create the shape of the shoe. And men and women have different feet. So if you have it on a male last, it's just not going to fit you. You're going to really have sore feet probably by the end of the day. And then this is my little sports mode one.
I like
this
that.
is the Eleanor.
Yeah.
And this one I've recently done a video on my Instagram that kind of talks through the technical detail of it. But it's quite good for like if you're striking the back of your foot quite a lot.
Oh,
so
right.
It's got this extra rubber going around here. It's crazy horse leather. So it's got quite a nice detail here. This is what I was saying about the pop of the colour.
Yeah, I like the orange.
So when you've got your shoe on, you just see a tiny bit.
Yeah.
It's got the reflector as well. But we do have a couple that go even higher up the leg. We've also just released, and it's through a different brand, is the first female safety Wellington. In the world, there was not a single safety Wellington, welly boot, whatever you call them, for women until a couple of months ago. So yeah, really, really good stuff. And I named the boots after women who inspire me. So the Kira is named after a mum of 5 who joined surveying later in life, and I was just like, that's just so amazing to get the courage to get back and study and join the working world of building surveying. And then the Eleanor is named after she's now an associate project manager, Eleanor Dyer, and again she like super inspired me. We studied together and I just think she's amazing. But yeah, we've got Mary. So the Mary boots is, I haven't got the boot with me right now, but it's like a sand colour, but like a military colour.
Yeah.
And it was just so her. So she's a plaster. Obviously, been on your podcast, if you've heard it, she's just like such a character. I love her.
Yeah.
And we just felt that she was the right person for that shoe. And we were so grateful that she's allowed us to go and visit her in her studio and see her wearing the boot. But yeah, we've got loads in the collections. Basically, it reflects how amazing all the different women are in the trade, and that yes, we all need different shoes. A plumber needs something different to a scaffolder, electrician, painter, decorator, and like me, like I don't actually do the physical trade work, but I still need to be super safe on site, and I have very different needs to potentially what I need at the site I'm on. And as a surveyor, we go on every site, you see. So I might need one boot for that client, one boot for that one. It really is so varied.
I bet the boot of your car is just full of boots, isn't it?
Yeah.
Different
it's
types.
Really bad. Yeah, and like hard hats. And then I'm like, mustn't leave it in the boot. It's really not safe. And I have so much different PPE and workwear as well. I was saying earlier, but I love really pockets. Like, why don't they put pockets in women's clothes? I have to wear like a bum bag, like to put. But anyway, the workwear I go for has like loads of pockets because I've got all my kit. And I do get really. I'm obviously not, like I said, like doing a trade job, but I get dirty. We're like crawling through holes, looking in loft voids, cupboards, on our knees, measuring, checking damp. You know, we need really good workwear that's durable, that isn't going to rip, and I can have loads of pockets. Just really comfy.
I love that. I love that you've considered what each particular trade needs out of their boot, out of their footwear. I love that, because typically it's just a generic work boot, isn't it? So the
Yeah.
fact
Just
that
get your
you,
safety boot.
yeah,
Well,
that's it.
yeah.
Steel toe caps, that's the one.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah.
But yeah, I love that. I love that. That's brilliant. So we'll definitely add the link to your boots at the end of the show notes for this.
Oh, thank you so much. I appreciate that.
For sure. Yeah, definitely. Because it is such a struggle. It's a main sticking point, I believe, for all of us females in any trade. It's a conversation that I see on social media, especially in particular Facebook groups, on a weekly, monthly basis. Where'd you get your work trousers from? Where'd you get your shoes from?
Yeah.
Because I can't fit round the hips, I can't get it round the bum, and they're too long because I've got short legs, you know. So the fact that people like yourselves are committing themselves to creating a specific line in whatever it may be, trousers or boots, it's an epic step forward for us all. So love that.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, there's some great stuff happening out there. Not just me, there's some really great stuff. And if there's something you can't get, it's you, whoever's listening. You got to make something. Yeah, be inspired to go and develop your own collection.
There you go. Amazing, amazing. Coming back to yourself, how do you manage your work and personal life? I know you said that it can be a bit of a mixed line sometimes, but obviously you've told me you've just come back off holiday, so you had a nice little break, have you?
Definitely, yeah. It's hard. Yeah, I've got a rule now. So I've been in Crete. I came back in the early hours of this morning. And I've got this rule where I always book off annual leave after a holiday to just decompress.
Yes.
Get all the washing done. Otherwise, you kind of then don't feel relaxed. The holiday was so relaxing. The travel was not. So it's just awful. And like delayed flights and small, hot airports. Work-life balance, yeah, really hard to get it right. So something I haven't said is I'm a mum of 3 as well. So I'm busy. I'm really busy. I've got a 4-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 1-year-old.
Goodness me.
So I came back from mat leave in April this year from my 3rd child. We kind of packed it in quite quickly. It just happened that way. I'm very grateful that we've got 3 beautiful children, but I really love my job as well. And I have no intention of not like giving up my job, which I know is a pressure for particularly women.
Yeah.
And I've basically been supported by my employer, which is really good. Another advertisement for building surveying is that it has been a job that I've been able to balance with being a parent as well. But yeah, every day is different. I can't always get it right, but I try and have some kind of formula. Like these are my office days. I try and stick to site days these days, and I try and protect Tuesdays for working from home where possible. But it does flex. But in the job I do, I can kind of project where I'm going to be. So when I was in building control, I didn't know where I was going to go the next day. It's whoever rings and says I need my footings looked at, for example. Whereas I've been able to be a little bit more proactive, so I can like organise the site meetings for a whole construction programme. Obviously, there's last minute call outs and crack on. I've got a really, really supportive husband, and we kind of just juggled life together a bit. And I think it's not just me. It's like the foundations of a great family network around me that have helped. Great nursery as well. Costs a fortune. But yeah, work-life balance. And sometimes the job just needs to be done, unfortunately. So for me, it might be that I put the kids to bed and then unfortunately I log back on. That is a bit different post-COVID, I think, because years ago I just leave my laptop at work, I finish for the day and that's it. Whereas now it's like we all just carry on working a little bit. And I know for those who are self-employed, there is no end to the day. You've got to get your invoices out. You've got to pay your suppliers, etc. And so I really, really respect anyone who's doing it on their own, because I have got the benefit of a bigger company, so I can take annual leave and there's someone to cover for me, and that's amazing. So in short, it is quite a juggle, but I think because I've found a job I really, really love, I don't mind sometimes those extra hours. And when I have a quiet day, I try and have a good lunch break. I encourage the juniors. So we're doing like quite a large scale survey program at the moment, and sometimes it can be really long days if there's travel, and some inspections can take longer than others. And now and again they'll call me and say, oh, I've had the morning cancelled, and I'm like, take it, relax, have that time. And I know that they'll give back 110% throughout that program. So I think take take the moments when you can. But yeah, some days it is a little bit longer, and I just try and make it work. And I would say finally about myself, sometimes I can procrastinate. You know, when there's that task that needs to be done and you just don't want to do it because you're like, oh, like it's too
Definitely.
hard, or my brain's not ready for this intense activity. So sometimes I'm my own worst enemy. And when I'm working late, I'm like, well, I could have probably got it done, but instead I worked through my inbox and did a less high priority task. So it's that self-motivation, I think. And yeah, maybe it's like the late nights, and I'm up in the night with a baby at the moment, so it's hard. But I don't know, somehow I just get up the next day and I'm happy, I'm enjoying it, I like my job. I try and eat well and exercise and give myself the fuel that I need to do quite an intense phase of my life right now. So yeah, really do look after yourself.
Definitely.
My thing is running. I just put on my shoes, get into nature. I do want to get into the gym soon as well, do a bit of strength and conditioning and that. But yeah, it just weirdly is relaxing. I know I could have a nap or I could go on a run. You'd think the nap would make me feel better, but actually it just somehow recharges me. Yeah. Look after yourself.
Definitely agree. I think the exercise, yes, some people may look at it as, oh, I haven't got the strength or the energy after a full day. But honestly, if you just push yourself to get there, take the journey in your car or your van to just get to the gym, and as soon as you start working out, you're going to feel so much better. It releases so many happy hormones in your body that it will clear your mind and reset it. So if you're considering getting back into exercise as an element of work-life balance, do it. Just do it. That's what I'm saying.
100%. Find that thing that you enjoy. I had someone, she took the step and it was netball. She used to do netball at school,
Brilliant.
joined a netball club. And that was her thing. Obviously, we've had the Lionesses smashing it at the moment.
Yes.
Like, if some people are like, oh, I tried exercise and didn't like it, maybe it just wasn't the one that you liked.
Absolutely.
And the same with healthy eating. Just find that balance of what you like. It might be that you tried one nutrition program and it just wasn't for you. But yeah, like now I love food so much. But it's not like I nourish myself. Like I eat a lot, but it's just good stuff.
Yeah.
And obviously a little treat once a day.
You've got to, because you can't cut all the treats out, because then you're going to want them more. No. It's got to be a fine balance, a sustainable balance, hasn't it?
Definitely.
For sure.
Definitely, yeah.
So I did want to ask you, actually, because I saw on your Instagram that hoping I get this right, you used to do a bit of mentoring in schools. Is that right?
Yeah. I do. So currently, I've been doing the Women Like Me program. So that's with university levels. And again, I'm like, oh, I wish I had that when I was younger. I could have done with a mentor. And like now, that's why I do it, because I'm like, well, I can help that person. But I actually also have my own mentor, which I've never had before. But it was offered as part of Women in Property membership. And I was like, oh yeah, I'd love one. And my goal was to get to associate. And I was mentored by someone who is at a director level. And mentoring is really important. And I do think it makes a difference. And it doesn't have to be forever. It can be a short thing or a long thing. The most recent person that I mentored was a girl called Jessica Barker. And she was a first year student at University of West of England at the time when we started our journey together. And she had entered the industry later. So she had lots of different experience in the working world, but wanted to go into building surveying. And I was just like, oh, this girl's great. And she had it all. It was just the mentoring relationship was more guiding herself to realize how amazing she is and what is possible. And that affirmation that, I am someone in the industry, and I recognize that she genuinely is someone that we would employ. And I know it sounds silly, but at those early stages, you haven't got this experience and qualification to fall back on and be like, I am good. You've got to just have this dream and belief in yourself. And so it was just kind of showing her that, and she was shortlisted for an award.
Wow.
And now she's done a placement. She did a summer placement with us. She's absolutely bloody brilliant. And then she's just done a whole year placement. So it's like a 3-year degree, but you can do a year in industry. You're encouraged to do it because it's work experience. And it's, like I said earlier, it's the kind of job you need to just get on site really and get involved. So she's just finished that, I believe, and then she's also been offered a graduate role with another team within our business. She's just an example of someone who's done so well, and she had, like I said, she had it all, and just being that mentor is just having the time for that person. And I'm a person who works in the industry who understands how it works. I understand all the different types of surveying and opportunities that I can kind of guide that passion. But really the mentoring is more supporting someone to find the answers to their own questions, and listening to that person. But yeah, in the past I've done, years ago I did one with so it was students at a high school who were not achieving what they should be achieving, for whatever reason. They may have had quite a difficult time at school or had behavioural issues, whatever. And that was more just being that person in the working world, again, to listen, talk, and just help them believe in themselves. Just having that, I'm not their teacher or whatever. So yeah, I've done quite a few different mentoring
Love that.
opportunities.
Yeah.
And like I said, I finally got my own mentor. So yeah, just reach out to someone if that's something that you're considering. And often different schemes have their own mentoring programs, so there may be ones available. I feel like CITB do, but if not, like, yeah, social media is a good place to start.
Sure is, yeah, definitely. So, nearing the end of our conversation, I like to do a bit of a quick fire question round. So
Okay.
It's just a bit of fun.
Yeah.
If you want to elaborate on any of your answers, please feel free. But yeah, here we go. So,
okay.
Laser scanner or measuring tape?
Both. Depends what it is. I have both. Measuring tape.
Okay.
I go for it, yeah.
Cool. A weekend break or a beach holiday?
Oh, these are hard, both. I'll go for beach holiday because I've just come back from a beach holiday. Beach holiday with good childcare and good food. Yeah.
Perfect. Cats or dogs?
Oh, it's so tough. I'm a dog girl now, but I was a cat girl originally.
Okay.
I've got like a cat dog.
Have you?
She's a dachshund. My husband liked big dogs. I had cats. I was like, we're never getting a dog. We met in the middle. We got a dachshund. And the love story never ended. She's amazing. And now I love dogs. I just think they're brilliant.
Awesome. Early rise or late finish?
Depends on the day, but I'm trying to be, I think early rise is more productive for me. Early bird catches the worm.
That's the one. Steel toe or composite toe?
Steel. I like both though. I have both in the collection.
Okay.
Yeah,
and finally, urban project or rural development?
Urban. Definitely urban. Yeah. I do like a cheeky rural in the mix, but I like the way that the urban developments interconnect with the rest of the urban built environment around it, which is really exciting. So with the rural ones as well, obviously there's lots of factors involved, but yeah, I think the fun of my job is that we have every single discipline within our consultancy, and so it's just like so exciting. Like I'll bid on a job and we've got like 20 different disciplines as part of that story. If you want an urban building, for example, you've got the engineers, mechanical, electrical, public health, civil, structural, geotechnical, acousticians, ecologists, archaeologists, building surveyors. The list goes on and on and on, and I just love it. I just think, wow, like all of us make these buildings amazing. Obviously, coming back from a holiday in Crete, lovely, but their infrastructure is nothing compared to what we have over here. And as much as these rules and regulations are really hard sometimes, I understand because it's transferred into a great built environment where possible. And particularly if you've got disabilities, well, we've got a pram, so we don't have a wheelchair, but I completely respect people who are going around in a wheelchair. And I'm like, if I can't get down here in my pram, you can't get down there if you're in a wheelchair or you have poor mobility or whatever. And I'm just like, it's definitely not perfect in the UK, but it's much more considered. And going abroad, it was like, this is like a death trap. Going around with this pram, like, so yeah, anyway, I digress there, but
that's all right.
Urban environment presents a lot of opportunities for problem solving, which I love problem solving.
Awesome. Okay, so I like to end the episode with 3 particular questions. If you could do, I'm obviously going to word this slightly different for yourself, but if you could do another role in the construction industry, whether it be on the tools or like yourself, what would it be and why?
Can I do 2?
Sure, crack
I
on.
think, so if in another life I was on the tools, I think I'd be a stonemason. I did a little course in it, and we did like a conservation course. So we did like stonemasonry and lime plastering and that. And it just really helped me understand the construction techniques of actually doing it rather than just the drawings and putting lime plastering. What does that mean? And that's one thing that I love my job and I've got lots of experience, but I haven't been on the tools. And that's one thing on my little CV that I think when you're on site, if you've been on the tools, you get that extra bit of respect. So it's like that little itch I want to scratch one day. And then another job in the consultant, like a professional side, would be project manager. So I always consider, like, would I be better in that role? Because I kind of understand all the different disciplines, but I just don't think I can ever leave the technical side that I do now. I love it too much. But project management is super exciting. And I do think in another life, potentially I could project manage like a really high value project, like a big nuclear site or HS2 or something like huge. But no, for now, I'm really happy where I am. But
Awesome.
I'm looking forward to hopefully a fruitful career ahead.
Well, it sounds like you're on the way to it. So definitely.
Oh, thank you.
Cool. So who do you think I should have on the show next?
Oh, there's too many good ones. I'd say Jess the plumber. I don't know if you've come across her. So I came across Jess, Plumbing and Jess, Jessica Rose. I think she's breaking barriers in the industry. So she's still in training, I believe.
Okay.
But she's come into it slightly later. And I think that's given her the gratitude for the job. Because often if you do it straight from school, it's like, yeah, I'm a plumber, whatever. But I think she worked really hard to get there. And then I relate to her experience. But when you're quite junior in the job, it's like you work so hard to prove that you can do it. And she definitely has done that. Like, she really does put herself out there and is willing to learn. And she's also like me, like quite girly, and is not afraid to be that. And I think that's quite inspiring because it doesn't feel natural, I'd say, in the job. I've always like tried to not be too girly and I don't know why, but yeah, I think I'm learning. I just seen her just rock into the industry, big hair, doesn't, makeup's fine or whatever. And I came across her through social media, and I think she's great. But there's a long list.
There is a long list. I know there is.
There's a long list of great people. So yeah, I look forward to hearing who you get on the show next.
Yeah, definitely. I've got a good amount lined up. It's always nice when people approach me as well. I've had a couple of tradeswomen say to me, "Are you looking for this type of tradie? I'd love to be part of the show," which is really nice, really nice. Yeah. So one final thing, where can the listeners find you on social media, etc.?
Oh, amazing. Thank you for asking. So my social media handle is Sophie the Surveyor. So it's nice and easy to remember, at Sophie the Surveyor. I'm on Instagram. I'm Sophie Perkins on LinkedIn, if anyone likes LinkedIn for work stuff. I hope that I've inspired people to just go for it, believe in yourself, be yourself in your job, and love what you do. And if you don't quite, then perhaps move across a bit. And there are some amazing jobs in the industry. So please don't leave. Just find something else there. Yeah, thanks so much for having me today and listening to my story.
You're welcome. Thank you for coming on the show. It's been great speaking with you. So yeah, I hope to continue conversations in the future and see where you are with things. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for listening to this episode. I really hope you enjoyed it. I just want to share with you that Sophie has been kind enough to provide you with a discount code for your first purchase at amblersafety.com. So if you search amblersafety.com and then look for the Sophie collection. Once you've chosen your brand new boots, go to the checkout and apply the code SOPHIE20. That's SOPHIE20. Sophie20 to get 20% off your first purchase at amblersafety.com. Thanks, guys. See you next time.